Strap in, because what you're about to hear didn't just rattle reality TV, it tore its mask off. For years, whispers trailed Porsha Williams like a shadow. Soft at first, then impossible to ignore. Rumors no one dared voice on camera. Stories producers allegedly knew, cast members allegedly joked about off-mic, insiders allegedly whispered would explode eventually. And that day, it's finally arrived, because this wasn't blogs. Not anonymous tips. This was Kenya Moore, on record, raw, and allegedly fed up with silence. Explosive claims suggest Porsha's self-discovery wasn't a start, it was a cover. Kenya alleges that behind those glossy interviews and tearful confessions lay a double life years in the making, secret lesbian flings, overlapping affairs, and an image meticulously crafted to survive reality fame. Allegedly, fans once cheering healing suddenly hit rewind on old clips. Party moments, reunion chaos, playful scenes now felt awkward. Patterns emerged, screenshots resurfaced, and what looked like growth began seeming like damage control. Then arrived the bombshell accusation. And just like that, the tone flipped completely. Not mere cheating, not just hidden secrets, but alleged risks, alleged insider warnings whispered behind closed doors, never proven, never documented, yet heavy enough to darken the entire story. No proof, no confirmations, just a silence, so loud it practically fanned the flames. And when the room hit peak chaos, Kenya Moore dropped another bomb, the infamous African Prince saga. Allegedly fake. Allegedly staged. Allegedly so desperate for screen time that a singer was reportedly offered $15,000 to sell the fantasy. That's when everything blew up. Live cameras rolling, voices colliding, fingers wagging, props flying, denials shouted, and then allegedly Porsha lunged. Security dove in, screams ripped through the studio, and in seconds, a juicy gossip tale became a moment no one could erase. The internet?
Completely split.
Clout chase or truth bomb? Victim or villain? One thing's crystal. This isn't gossip anymore. This is fallout. And the silence that followed? Possibly the most dangerous twist. Buckle up, because what went down behind reality TV's bright lights wasn't a scripted scene. It was the slow, messy implosion of a carefully curated image. And the fallout? Allegedly far more brutal than anyone bargained for. For years, Porsha Williams basked in a halo of charm, vulnerability, and redemption arcs that looked flawless on camera. She laughed, she cried, she evolved. Or at least that's what the audience was sold. Behind the scenes, whispers trailed her everywhere. Quiet dressing room chats, side-eye glances at reunions, sentences cut off the second cameras rolled. Allegedly, this drama wasn't new. It was long delayed. Sources close to production claimed there were years of rumors about Porsha living a double life. Not just overlapping flings with men, but alleged romantic entanglements with women that never aired. Not because they didn't exist, but because they were inconvenient. Insiders said the fear wasn't exposure. It was backlash, brands, ratings, image control. Silence? Easier. Then Porsha went public about her sexuality. The internet blew up with praise, healing, growth, courage. Fans scrambled to defend her, hailing it as a powerful, liberating moment. Self-discovery. But almost instantly, a new narrative started simmering beneath the applause. To some, especially those claiming insider seats, this wasn't awakening. It was a full-blown rebrand. Enter Kenya Moore, allegedly ready to stir the pot. According to claims linked to Kenya, what the public witnessed wasn't a start, but a carefully softened reveal of a years-long saga. She allegedly implied that Porsha's same-sex relationships weren't experimental or recent. They were part of a hidden pattern insiders quietly knew and conveniently ignored. Allegedly, these romances overlapped with others. Allegedly, hearts got broken. Allegedly, the truth was buried under contracts and controlled storylines. Once these claims aired, fans did what they always do. They dug. Old footage resurfaced. Party clips once brushed off as fun now screamed tension. Reunion moments replayed with a sharper lens. Jokes that once landed awkwardly now looked like glaring red flags. Patterns appeared where coincidence used to hide. And the more viewers examined, the harder it became to unsee. What darkened the drama wasn't only the alleged cheating or secrecy.
It was
The implication, never proven, never documented, that people close to Porsha had concerns beyond simple emotions. Alleged health-related red flags, alleged risks insiders claimed were whispered, yet never publicly addressed. No records, no confirmations, just enough heavy insinuation to twist the tone of the entire discussion. At that moment, this wasn't just gossip anymore. It morphed into a full-blown credibility crisis. Porsha, meanwhile, dived deeper into emotional transparency. Interviews grew fragile. Tears streamed. She spoke of loneliness, exhaustion, and a desperate need to heal away from all relationships. To supporters, it felt painfully real. To critics, suspiciously calculated. Allegedly, rather than tackling specific accusations, the spotlight shifted to pain. And pain? Hard to challenge without seeming cruel. Media analysts spotted a familiar playbook. Say just enough to appear honest. Say too little to take responsibility. Let empathy drown interrogation. And, for a while, it actually worked. Sympathy flooded comment sections. Doubt stayed quiet until it didn't. More clips resurfaced. More insiders spoke anonymously. Then another contradiction slammed the timeline: Porsha's past religious sermons. Old recordings where she criticized LGBTQ identities suddenly resurfaced alongside her modern-day openness. To some, proof of growth. To others, red flags. Growth demands explanation. Silence invites suspicion. Then came the allegation that reignited everything. Kenya Moore reportedly claimed Porsha fabricated the infamous African prince story, once a fan obsession. According to the allegation, no prince existed, no private chats, just a narrative allegedly cooked for airtime. Even hotter, Kenya allegedly said a singer was offered up to $15,000 to sell the staged illusion on camera. That claim didn't just question Porsha's honesty, it shook the show's integrity. Tension exploded live. Voices clashed. Accusations flew.
props went airborne.
Fingers wagged. Kenya allegedly stood her ground, insisting her claims came not from gossip blogs, but insiders fed up with silence. Porsha denied it all, claiming the media twisted her words, but denial did nothing to calm the storm. Witnesses reported chaos in seconds. Years of restraint shattered, and allegedly Porsha lost it. Cameras rolling, audience stunned, she lunged at Kenya. Security stormed in. The studio exploded into chaos. Screams pierced the air. For a heartbeat, it didn't feel like TV. It felt raw, unfiltered, real. That single moment flipped the entire narrative. Suddenly, the debate wasn't about whether the allegations were true. It was why the reaction went nuclear. Why violence instead of dismissal? Why fury instead of clarity? Supporters claimed she was pushed past her limit. Critics argued pressure exposes truth. Afterward, silence. No lawsuit. No full rebuttal. No airtight denial. Just fragments, hollow statements, smoke without fire. And silence in a scandal this loud? Rarely neutral. The internet split in half. One camp accused Kenya Moore of clout chasing, weaponizing rumors for relevance. The other insisted repeated allegations from multiple directions don't come from thin air. Between those extremes, unease grew. This no longer looked like harmless reality drama. It looked like a collapse. The scariest part isn't what was said, it's what wasn't. Lack of closure, unanswered questions, a story paused but never resolved. Allegedly, more insiders know more than they admit. Allegedly, contracts complicate everything. Allegedly, this is far from over, because when a public image shatters this violently, it's rarely the finale. It's the opening act. And what comes next? Probably impossible to contain. The silence that followed didn't calm a thing. If anything, it cranked the volume higher. Within hours of that explosive on-camera moment, timelines overflowed with slowed clips, zoomed screenshots, and frame-by-frame dissection of Porsha's every reaction. Commentators didn't just ask what happened, they demanded why it happened exactly that way. Multiple outside voices insisted,